All right, so this is part three of the year 2017 of having the best year yet. So Romans 12:2. Do not copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Or it talks about renewing your mind daily. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So a lot of times it's just how we look at life or how we look at things, and if you don't understand it, it's okay to say, you know what, Lord, I don't see it, but help me to, deal with it, to see it the way God wants us to see it. 1 Corinthians 2:16, it says, for who can know the Lord's thoughts? Who knows to teach him? But we understand these things, for we have the mind of Christ. So you actually can put on the mind of Christ. You actually can say, you know what? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You can say in Genesis 50 and 20, what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for good. So you can say, you know what? Even though I don't see it, I trust God. I know that he's always going to work it out for my good. And that's putting on the mind of Christ. And even not understanding, saying how everything is going to work out to your good. But you know that, God got you. A lot of times, sometimes we look at life a certain way. And that's why it says, do not copy the behaviors or customs. We look at it the way the world looks at it. It's like, oh, my goodness, how is this going to work out? Like you may be in a relationship, all of a sudden a person cheats or something and you're not with that person no more and you're like, oh, that's messed up. No, that's actually a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they walk out your lives for whatever reason. That's actually a blessing. God actually has something better for you. And that's not saying that they're a bad person, but, sometimes, there are seasons, there are seasonal people in our, there's seasonal relationships that we have as far as people, sometimes family. You know what I'm saying? Where you're not close with somebody anymore or relationships or anything like that. So we have 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us the spirit of fear or of timidity, but of power, love, self-discipline, or a sound mind. So you can have a sound mind in whatever situation may be. A lot of times people just come to try to distract you. You're looking at things, you're like, oh my goodness, like look at this person trying to bother me at work. Or, I held the door for this person. They didn't say thank you. Don't let a person distract you from doing what God has called you to do, even the simplest of things. But you can have the power, like it says, power, love, and a sound mind, and say, you know what, even when you pray for your enemies or anything like that, man. And that's what I just want to tell you, this new year, it's just, we got to change the way we think, and we got to put on the mind of Christ, and we read the word, and that allows us to put on the mind of Christ. John 14:27, it says, peace I leave you, my peace I give to you. I do not give it to you as the world gives you. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. So sometimes the world tries to give us peace, whether that's through smoking, drinking, having sex, whatever the case may be. But God is like, listen, I can give you something much better. And a lot of times, that is some satisfaction, but God wants to give us more than that. And that's why a lot of times when you do that, you still feel empty. So I'll talk about that tomorrow. We're up on 3 minutes. Love y'all. God bless.